Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing my No Pan Left Behind update. I did do an update like 2 weeks ago and I rolled in total of 5 palettes, but I am done with 3 of the 5. So I figured it's the beginning of the month. Let's start fresh with the palettes that I need to use throughout the month and go from there. So if you love any style of Project Pan videos, definitely continue watching. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and let's just go ahead and jump right in. But I am going to have about 12 palettes to work on and go from there. So I do have 5 palettes that I had from the last update, but I did bring in one yesterday because I needed some deepening shadows, crease colors, and I don't want to be repeating usages on palettes that I already like finished because I want to work on palettes in my collection. I do have 146 palettes, and in order for me to do the No Pan Left Behind, I have to use 12 palettes a month. So we got to work on some palettes. Anyways, let's just go ahead and jump right in. I do have 3 to roll out. So the first one is my Pat McGrath, what is this one called? Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction, and this palette is beautiful. This is the newest one that she came out. It's so beautiful. Like, these shimmery shadows are super pretty. I do have one picture to share with you guys, so I'll upload it. But I did use every shadow once, but this shade, that shade, and this shade right here, I used 2 times each. And this is so beautiful. Like, you see wet blue and then it goes to red. It's like a beautiful duochrome shadow. Very beautiful palette. I really enjoyed it, but I'm definitely in need of like neutral shades. Doing this project has made me realize like I have a lot of colorful palettes, and there was a point where I was buying like only eyeshadow palettes, and now I'm like, shoot, like I have to use these shadows to work. And like today I did a green look. Like, I'm not gonna wear something, I think I would wear it but to work, but I feel like more comfortable wearing it like on the weekends that I'm not going to work, and like I just don't need a bold look for work. The next palette that I met my goal on is my Wild Jaguar by Huda Beauty. This palette is beautiful. I do remember when I first used this palette that I felt like it was a little dry, but I loved this palette just because I've been using so much color and I'm like, cool tones, cool, like I get to use something else besides so much color, you know? So I really enjoyed this palette, and again, everything used once, but 4 shades got more love. So this shade, this shade, this shade, and this shade got 2 uses instead of 1. And again, that's why I'm like wanting to roll in the palettes that I need. That way I'm not like repeating shades, even though I really enjoyed using this shadow more than once, or the shadows more than once. I just need to meet my goals. So I need to be working on other palettes at once so I can meet my goal on all of the palettes. So, okay. Next up that's getting rolled out is my Florist Story palette by Odin's Eye and collab with Makeup Just for Fun. I did tell you guys in my last update that I feel like this palette is not the same formula as the other palettes that I have in my collection. I have like the Christmas palettes. I also have the Angelica collab. I also have some of the collabs, a Judy palette, and I have the Annette palette, the first collab that they came out with. And those are pretty pigmented, but this formula, like I really have to build up the shadow, and it's kind of annoying to be honest. And one that stood out to me was this shimmer right here. It looks just like a white shimmer, but it reflects like red to yellow to green. It's so pretty. Like, I was very surprised when I put this on my eyelids and I was like, wow, my eye look is beautiful. Like, I just topped it off with this color right there. I was thinking of decluttering it, but I really like the shadow, so I don't know. I might leave it in here. This shadow right here got 2 uses, and everything else I just used once. I'm like tempted to keep this palette just for this one. Like, I really was thinking about decluttering this palette because I hate having to really build up the shadow, but it's fine. I'm keeping it just for that shade. Okay, and then the other palettes that I had rolled in from the last update is my Dragon Fruit palette by Cleona in collab with Emily Violet Marie. I have not used this palette at all, and yeah, hopefully by the next update, at least half usages. I think I can. A lot of these are pretty, like half of them are pretty wearable. It's an all shimmer palette, so I need some mattes in order to be able to use this palette. And then the palette that I'm wearing today on my eyes is actually Wilderness palette by Beauty Bay. And I used pretty much all of the green shades in this row besides this one right here. I did use this one in the inner part of the crease, this one in the outer part of the crease, this one to deepen the outer corner, this on the lid, this in the inner corner, and again this one to bring down the green if I went up too high to my brow bone. So I've used this palette 3 times. This shade I've used twice. Mostly I just need to use these 6 shades right here, this orange, this green color, the blues in here, and then I will be good. I think I have what, 3-4 uses maybe for this palette, and it can get rolled out, and maybe in the next update this will be rolled out. So that'll be my goal for this one. And then again, I did need some, as you can see, the 2 that are left over have no neutral shades. So I did bring in my Ayana palette by Natasha Denona, and I just used the 2 matte shades in here, and I still need the 2 shimmers and that one. So this one kind of was like a bonus roll-in. I rolled it in, what, a few days ago, just so I can use a couple matte brown shades. But so I have 3 palettes left, and I do want to have 12 palettes total. I think I'm gonna roll in, I do want to do the whole 12 palettes, but I think I want to do 2 palettes that like I pick what I want to use, and everything else will be like randomized from my wheel. And I haven't created a bold look like this in a while. I feel like I've been keeping my looks really like neutral, especially for work. But overall, I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking myself back in my viewfinder on my computer, and I'm just like, wow. Like, it's a really cool look. I thought about taking it off because I am planning on going to Walmart, like grocery shopping, and I do need to go to TJ Maxx to get like some big fluffy pillows for my bed. But I thought about taking it off, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna leave it on. So anyways, let's just jump right in. All right, so let's see. So I need 12 palettes minus 3, that's 9. And I wanna pick 2, so I'm gonna roll in 7 random palettes, and then I'll pick 2 of my own. So the first one is the Melt Muerte palette. Oh my gosh. Okay, one more before I write them down. And I forgot to add slice, so. Patrick Tom Major Dimensions 2. Okay. You just push the once, that thing goes forever. Menagerie Indigo Ink. Oh my gosh, this palette is so pretty. Like, this is my favorite Menagerie palette I have. Colourpop, It's My Pleasure. Colourpop, It's My Pleasure. Oh, that's the purple palette. I'm like, what is It's My Pleasure? Purple looks nice. Melt Gemini. You know what's funny is that I was watching some eyeshadow palette collection and declutters, and people were mentioning how their Melt Gemini 2 had mold, and also mentioned Patrick Tom Major Dimensions had mold. So I checked my palettes and they're good. So it just reminded me that somebody had said theirs went bad, but mine are still good. Colourpop Sonic Bloom. Oh, I haven't used this palette in forever. So, oh my gosh. Natasha Denona Gold palettes. Ooh, how many have I picked? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I have 7 palettes already. I'm gonna pick 2 more of my wanting, and I'll share with you guys what those palettes look like. Okay, I'm back. So again, I have Natasha Denona Ayana palette. I only have 3 shades left to use out of this. My Dragon Fruit, I have all of the shades still to use, and then my Beauty Bay, I was gonna say ABH, Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. I have about half of the shades still to use, so those 3 are still in here. So these are the ones that got rolled in with the wheel, and then I'm gonna share I actually picked 3 palettes to roll in of my choice, so we'll do those after I talk about the ones from the wheel. So this one is the Melt Muerte palette. dark shades. I love the color story of this palette. I got it when it first launched, and yeah, I really enjoyed this palette. The other one was the Melt Gemini palette. Beautiful, more wearable colors, so that'll be nice. Patrick Major Dimensions 2 palette is a berry toned palette. I'm getting a lot of variety with this round, so that's nice. Indigo Ink by Menagerie Cosmetics. This is, again, my favorite Menagerie palette I have in my collection. I don't know. This one has duochrome shadows in here. They're so nice. And I was going to say, I don't think this will get rolled out in the next update, but you never know. You never know what I'll be feeling when I'm doing my makeup in the morning. Colourpop. Why do I keep saying Colourpop? Colourpop, It's My Pleasure. This one I was just like, which one's It's My Pleasure? But it's an all purple palette. So this one will be fun to use. Sonic Bloom was one that I debated on declaring because I never use it, but this is my chance. So a mix of color and some neutrals in here. So I'm gonna use that. And then the last one that was rolled in from the Wheel app is my Natasha Denona Gold palette. And mine looks a little different because I got rid of some of the shades that were in here and I added the Cranberry palette. And it's these 3 shades right here are from the Cranberry palette. But overall, this is mostly the Natasha Denona Gold palette with a touch of cranberry in it. Okay, so I decided to roll in 3 palettes instead of just 2. So the first palette of my choice was my NARS Climax palette. This one was one that I did think it was going to be better than what it was when I first used it. But I don't know, it's just calling me again some cool tone shadows. So I'm going to definitely use this palette here. Another one that I picked, another cool tone palette, Sultry by ABH. Looks like this, and very beautiful, lots of shimmer shades to use. So I almost rolled in the what's it called? Makeup by Mario, the second palette, the one with the shimmers in it, not the neutral mattes or whatever that matte palette is called. I'm tempted to buy the new one because it's cool tones, you guys. Again, I've just been using so much color that I'm like, I want some cool tone shadows in my collection. But I'm gonna use this palette right here. And then the last palette is one of the newer palettes in my collection. And it's the Danessa Myricks Groundwork Blooming Romance palette. And I have actually already used, what, 3 shades from this palette? So I'm going to count it because I got it like a week or so ago and I wanted to dip my little fingers in here. So I have created a look on this already and this is what it looks like. It smells so good. It smells like berries or something. It smells so delicious. But I've used this color and that color, but everything else has not been touched. So I will definitely be marking them and tallying this up. So far, I do like the formula. It's not like overly creamy. Like the big ones are like cream, isn't it cream to powder? And then the shadows just powder. But I really like it so far. First impressions was good. So yeah, those are my 3 picks that I'm picking for this round that I'll be working on in the next month or so. Hopefully I get at least half of these out, hopefully, and go from there. So if you're doing any no pan left behind or any project pans, let me know down in the comment section below so I can check it out. How many palettes do you guys think that I will finish for the next update? I'm thinking hopefully at least half, but I'm thinking hopefully at least 10 of these palettes because I got, what, 13 palettes I'm working on. So hopefully like 8 to 10 palettes I get to roll out. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.